The next edition of the Beacon of Light podcast, and we are pleased to be able to bring in Dr. Robb Kelly. And Robb, you've got a very impressive history with reference to some of the folks you played some instruments with, if we can say it that way, to your, to what we'll call, I don't know, for better terms, your fall. You mentioned that you have your aha moment, but I want to go back before the aha moment, right? And talk a little bit about your journey, right? If you don't mind, because it's very impressive where you grew up, that kind of thing, and then what brought you into the music industry and all that stuff. Would you mind sharing a little bit about that with us?
Of course. So I belong to a musical family. Took my first drink at the age of 9 on stage in Liverpool. Where the Beecon.
Who are you with?
My auntie and uncle.
On what stage? Who was performing?
Just us. Yeah, it was like a cabaret place where all the bands play. So I was playing there. First half was scary, loads of people. My uncle gave me a beer, said, drink this. And right there and then it changed my whole life. Confident, fantastic, amazing. So that's when I started drinking weekend at the age of 9, 10, 11, 12. And further on down the line, I grew up on the project and I grew up with absolutely no money, lower working class family. We had food to eat. We had 2 pairs of shoes a year. We got and hand-me-down clothes. Is how I grew up.
Yeah.
I always wanted to get away from the project, and I always wanted to make something of myself. But at some point, the alcoholism got me, and I was successful to a point.
And what country were you in, by the way? Because obviously your accent tells us you're from someplace else. Is that England?
Yeah, it's Manchester, England, where I was at the time. And then drinking took over, and of course, ended up homeless on the streets, lost everything, lost my 2 little children, lost my wife, houses, cars, medical license, lost everything. Then was on the streets for 14 months, which was crazy, but I died twice on the streets in Manchester, and they brought me back to life again, which I hated then for that, but today, been in Texas.
Wait, hold on a sec. I want to just paint a little bit of a picture, if you don't mind. You don't remember actually dying, but you do remember being woke up and being ticked off that it's not over. Did I understand you?
Correct.
And that happened twice.
I died twice and they brought me back to life. So I just didn't want to live, wanted to die.
And those, for the people that can hear, everything that you're going to hear from the good doc here, it's all relatable depending on where you are in your journey. But how many of us have wanted that, present company included? You know what? I don't want to do this anymore. And that's where you were, right?
That's where I was. It's like everything I tried to die, I couldn't die. I slit my wrist, I jumped off buildings, I tied myself to the railway track, all sorts of crazy.
I'm not laughing at those tragic events. Yeah. I'm chuckling because of the fact that you gave it a go, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
But let's now fast forward to your moment, because you obviously know now that that wasn't what God had in store for you, right? Please tell them not to do that. So that's obviously not what God had in store for you. Can you talk a little bit about your aha moment?
Sure. So I'm on the streets, 14 months. I just about had everything, done everything, homeless, abandoned, depressed, suicidal. Then I dropped down to my hands and knees one morning in the middle of nowhere, just factories and offices. And I remember looking up to the sky as an atheist, and I said these words: if there's a God up there, I can't do this on my own. Next thing I knew, a guy walked around the corner, missed the last bus home from Bible study, came upon me, took me back to his house. I shaved and bathed for the first time in a year. And he said, I'm an alcoholic. I've got to go to these meetings. You've got to come with me. I said, I don't want to go. And he said, if you don't go, Rob, you can't stay in the house. So I went. And during that meeting, I heard a guy called John speak. And after the meeting, I went over and asked if he would sponsor me and help me. And he said, no. I said, but I will see you for 12 weeks on a Wednesday. I'll be a spiritual advisor, is what he said. So I went round there every Wednesday, left Derek's at 6, got there for 7, come back at 8, arrived back at Derek's at 9. Every Wednesday for 12, so I did that. And he taught me things that were amazing. He taught me things that I still use today in business and helping people get to where they want to be. So after the 12th night, he said, your life will change. And showing up the next day, it did. I got a job. So after 2 or 3 weeks, got my first pay packet. My life had changed instantly. It was absolutely crazy. So I bought a teddy bear this big, so I could afford, and a card, and I wrote on the card. Went back to his house and there's nobody there. Knocked on the door, woman on the right hand come out and she says, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Where's John relocated to?" And she says, "John who?" I says, "Your neighbor." He said, "I've only been there for 6 weeks. I've never seen anybody in that apartment." So I went round to the left-hand side neighbor and I banged on his door. Big guy comes to the door. "What do you want?" So where's John moved to? I said, "John who?" So the guy next door to you, your neighbor, what's wrong with you? He went on to tell me, "Step into that door, you fall 2 flights down and you probably kill yourself." So I thought he was crazy. So I went back to the meeting where I met John. And when I went in, the chairman went, "Robert, great to see you." And I'm like, "Oh, thank God for that." I thought I was going crazy. So I said, "Does John still come in?" And he said, "John who?" And I said, "I'm over near the cop machine speaking to him." And he said, "We thought you were praying because you're over near the cop machine speaking to yourself. We've never found that man." And when I started to get wealthy, I put the best private detective agency in Manchester and money could buy, and they couldn't trace it. And
Wait,
that's the reason why.
wait, hold on a sec. We can say that John is an angel because
I would say so.
what else could it be? If anybody has any, and I don't know if of most of us, I've had some experiences similar to that, but not when I'm having full on conversations and being that to me, that's from God. That's an angel. What else could it be, Doc? Really? And you don't mind if I call you Doc, do you?
I don't know. That's all it can be. And he used to say this: "God has just told me to go around the world and tell people they can fully recover from the bullshit they're going through, whether that be addiction, childhood trauma, depression, suicide, anxiety." And for the last 30 years, that's what I've done. A 98% success rate.
That is phenomenal. We have our recidivism right here at Beecon, and we'll get into some things that are. I think it's amazing that you are from England. I am from Southern California and Texas, and yet God can direct us both because there are so many similarities between the things that you believe and the things that God has directed me to do. It's mine, which tells me it has to be from God because it's the truth. And that's what you're doing is you're doing what you're told to do. I was told the other day, you're a crusader. And I'm like, no, I'm an obeyer, right? Dr. Kelly, you're doing what God told you to do. And if I know that you're going to take your last breath doing what God is telling you to do. Does that sound about right to you?
Yeah, definitely. I'll never retire. I'm 63 now. I'm never going to retire. I've helped around 10,000 people over the 30 years I've been doing this. Like I say, with a 90, we're the only company in the world that do two things. We're the only company in the world that, first of all, guarantee that you can recover with a 98% success rate. We're the only company in the world that will give you money back if you relapse while you're still following our program. The only company in the world, because the neuroscience behind addiction and childhood trauma and alcoholism is what the game changer was for us. The hypothalamus basal ganglia, the stuff that kills alcoholics that everyone else is, what? I don't know what you're talking about. Why can't I say it's all there? Everybody can recover and everybody can get their kids back, become a businessman, earn $1 million. It's not hard to do that, man. It really is.
Well, I'm going to say something that I have been made aware. The first, our grand opening here, there's a party over there. There's a bunch of people with hors d'oeuvres, some guy playing the guitar over there. And somebody walks into me into my office and says, "Hey, I need to talk to you." And I ended up talking to her for quite some time. And she talked a lot about something known as neuroplasticity or something about neuroplasticity, right?
Yeah, of course. And it sounds like a big word, but it's just literally repatterning neural pathways. So 300 neural pathways die every single day. What are we replacing them with? Are we replacing them with past trauma? Are we replacing them with fear? Or are we replacing them in the now, today, with positive thought patterns? Because the subconscious brain wakes us up in the morning because it loves hypoxic situations, and the conscious brain, we need to get rid of this guy in the first 10 minutes we're awake, get that guy in the conscious brain, and you can achieve anything you want to achieve.
Yes, you're talking about living in the here and now and getting out of what I call limiting beliefs. And we're taught those limiting beliefs from a very young age, right? And we believe that. shit. And what you're talking about is replacing those limiting beliefs with the truth. The truth is, you are love, and we are light. And the brain can regenerate itself. We were the first facility, I think, in the country, I know at least in the state, of using neurofeedback to treat people with neurofeedback's been out for who knows how 50 years, but nobody was using it with people with addictions, and that blew me away, right? And so the brain, as you all know, can regenerate itself, correct?
100%. Right? Unless you've got severe brain damage, but there's a myth that alcohol kills brain cells. That's not true. There's loads of myths around addiction that people don't know. Childhood trauma is the gateway drug. That's what it all starts. If you're at home and listen to this and you think, you know something, I don't think I can start that empire. I don't think I could. I want to apologize to you. Somebody's put that there. Babies are born with two fears: falling, loud noises. That's it. The rest are man-made. Wait till your father gets home. You can't do that. Don't be stupid, Robert. You can't go over to America and become successful. My answer is always the same. Says who? Well, I just mean you. Says who? Don't you be telling me what I can do with my life, because you're wrong. And I proved a lot of people wrong. You've got to understand the neuroscience to fully recover 100%. You've got to realize what the subconscious brain is always looking for, the bad shit in life. It's always looking for something you've done wrong. The hypothalamus, oh, don't even get me started about that. It's mind-blowing what we did. Today, I work with a lot of A-list celebrities. I only take on 4 patients every 3 months. Though my staff work with people like me, working class, but it's the hypothalamus and the basal ganglia, the understanding of that will blow your mind.
So it's so much fun to listen to you talk. It sounds like I'm listening to myself talk. And because what I know is that we are all master creators. We can create whatever it is we want. The stage is ours, and we are the ones bringing the characters in onto our stage, right? We are creating everything, right? And what I've learned, and it's a lot what you're talking about, is get out of my head and lead with my heart. Getting my head out of the equation, right? And leading with my heart. And it sounds so simple, but yet it's so difficult for so many of us to do, because for me, that requires faith. Faith that we are not alone. We never have been, nor will we ever be alone. God is always with us, always has been, and always will be. Any thoughts on that?
Of course, the brain doesn't know the difference between the truth and the false. That's it. If you believe in something, if you reenact something, if you use the quantum physics that tells us that we can have anything and be anybody we want, then it's going to happen. People don't believe this. The key to life is oxygen, which we only breathe 45% of our lung capacity, and believe that the neuroplasticity and patterns in your head can change. They can change in seconds. We're all patterns from our childhood trauma. Whether usually everybody has childhood trauma, just alcoholics, addicts, PTSD, and depressed people are more sensitive to that. So the prefrontal cortex, when it's looking for an answer to a problem, always dives into the subconscious brain that basically wants to kill us and make it look like an accident. You've got to get rid of that guy, and you've got to get into the conscious brain, which is now you can do anything you want. People just like, it's just impossible. It can't be that easy. Once you know the physics and the neuroscience behind this, it's easy. I can't explain. Look at me. I'm not supposed to be here. One of the most sought after addiction doctors in the world. How did I get here? It's God, the angel that visited, neuroscience, and always be teachable that you can 100% change. And it's almost laughable, to be honest, Tony, that people don't believe me. But
I'm going to throw in something.
Well, millions of times books.
I want to throw in, though, how did Dr. Kelly get to where he is? I'm going to throw into the list of things that you provided, because you and I are so much. I'm going to throw in that God knew he had somebody that was going to work his ass off to get this stuff done.
I would definitely agree with that. Yeah, definitely. And at the end of the day, here's the fact of life. Everybody is jealous about what I have, but nobody's jealous how I got here. They don't want to know that part.
No.
You just see the big houses, the cars, and all that stuff. What they don't see is 25% of our work is pro bono. What they don't see is no veteran pays to come here. What they don't see is $250,000 out my own bank account back into the community. They don't see that. They just see this image of this person and don't really know me and expect me to be this way, and it's just not true.
Yeah. Well, I often say it's very interesting, the analogies and the way you're thinking and the things you're saying, because I use the analogy. I was in the military and I worked in one of the branches I was in was the Navy. I worked in the engine room. Can you hear me okay? This thing's
Yes.
you get okay. So in the engine room, there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of commotion, it's hot, things are happening. But when you go topside, right, you're like, wow, this is effortless. This thing's just mysteriously floating through the water. They don't see what it took to get there, right? That's what you just described. People don't see the nuts and the bolts of the things that you and I both do. I'm going to quote you, and I hope I say this correctly. You said, I think, wherever there, and it speaks to what you were talking about just a few minutes ago, wherever there is addiction, there's trauma. Can you talk a little bit about that, a little bit more?
Well, trauma is the gateway drug. Everybody has childhood trauma. And you know, I don't have, yeah, I come from a 10 million, I don't care where you come from, we have childhood trauma. What we do here in life is a correlation to what we do. So if your relationships never work out, if your business is always fail, you can't get a job, if you're miserable and depressed, it's here is where it comes from. This is where we get our pattern brain from. Our caregivers and our parents is where it comes from. So if you grow up in a dysfunctional house, guess what? You're going to live a dysfunctional life unless you sort that out. Just alcoholics and addicts are more sensitive to that trauma, so it destroys us more here. That's what it is. Once you go back to the trauma, uncover, discover, discard of what it is, then you set free with a bunch of other stuff like 9D Journey that we have software for. It's amazing. All the psychology. Once you get everything in line, it is impossible to fail.
So there's a lot of people that think that getting past their addiction issues has to do with willpower, but you take it a little bit deeper than that, right? It's what you're talking about, and there's a lot of misconceptions about what's that.
Alcoholics are born, drug addicts are made. Alcohol has 1% to do with alcoholism. The same with drugs, the same with porn, sex, food, whatever it is. 1% to do with what's going on, and stop constantly. Got nothing to do with it. I never had a drinking problem, I had a thinking problem. And when you understand that, you get halfway on the way to realizing that you can do this. Well, I keep relapsing childhood trauma, lack of knowledge of what you're going through, lack of belief. You hang around 9 depressed people, you're going to become the 10. That's it. I don't hang around anybody that's not happy every day. I don't hang around anybody that's not killing it on a daily basis. And I don't mean being a multimillionaire, getting the kids back, starting a little business, whatever it is. If you're not doing that and treating yourself with kindness and other people, you're not in my circle. You'll never, and you think I give a shit about that? I have 2 things everybody wants. One is enough. I have enough. Secondly, I don't give a shit. This took me 20 years. You know,
I often tell people, and don't take this the wrong, don't take this the wrong way, but what you think of me is none of my business. And people look at me like I'm saying something offensive, but it's the truth. What somebody else thinks of me, I don't care, right? I don't have time. It's hard enough for me to figure out what's going on between my 2 ears, much less what are you guys thinking about? I don't care what you think of me. I used to. That was my life. And I'm sure you understand this completely. I used to really care more about what other people thought about me than I did what I thought about me. Once I made that shift and realized what you think of me, it doesn't matter. What I think of me is what matters. Agreed? I know you do.
And internal dialogue and belief in yourself. Well, look at him. Listen, I love Cat Williams. Look at him. There's only one of us wearing $12 worth of jewelry right now. And it isn't me, guys. So you're probably sat in your mum's bedroom somewhere or the basement, 40 years old, got 2 divorces. You don't see your kids and you're trying to comment on what I'm doing. Always look at the source, guys. Nobody will ever, if you don't take away anything, guys, from this takeaway, nobody will ever negatively comment on anything you do that's doing as good as you or better. It's always the cesspit down there that want to drag you back. Oh, look at him. Who's it that? I don't give a shit what you think. You think you're going to hurt me with a little thing on your own? Robb Kelly, that really? He's not from England. He's not a doctor. He's not in America. You've got to try a bit harder than that to affect me because I know who I am today. And I know how powerful I am. And before everyone gets on the horse, I was a bit egoistic. My ego went when I took my kids off me. Once you get 30 years of walking with God every single day, he builds the confidence up. Then you can walk out and be yourself. I don't bow before no man. If I want something, I go over and take that position. I take it. It's not arrogance, it's confidence. It's the only way to live, guys. If you're living for everybody else, I wonder how I feel, how do I look, I wonder what he thinks. I used to walk into a room, Tony. I used to wonder if anybody likes me in here. Now I kick that fucking door down and ask anybody, do I like anybody here? And it's a big change, frees you up to do what you want to do in life, because everybody has a mission from God. Other people want to stop that. They don't like you to be successful because they're not. That's just a couple of rules of succeeding, whether you be an entrepreneur or an addict. It doesn't make any difference. The brain works the same way.
And
we're all the same. Some people get the key to life. And we have the key to help people to life, to restructure, to whatever you want to do, you can do. And well, I can't be, you know what he used to say to me years ago, Tony? I used to go, you can be anybody you want. Well, I can't be president of the United States. Let's forget our political views for a second, guys. We had a freaking businessman running the country for 4 years with no political experience whatsoever. Don't tell me you can't achieve your dreams. Somebody's put that there. It's just not true.
so, or how about this? We're going to do a little experiment. Behind you, there are some items on your desk. I think that's going to be right over your right shoulder. I think, do I see a coffee cup over your right? I do, right? I want you to do me a favor. Thing right there, whatever that was, that coffee cup right there. I want you to try and pick that coffee cup up. You didn't try, you did. We don't try to do anything. We bloody well do it, right?
Once you adopt that attitude, you can't fail.
What's that?
Once you adopt that attitude, you can't fail. Look at this guy. Oh, well, I got turned down. Look at the Beatles. He got turned down so many times. Look at J.K. Rowling. They said she was a joke, the first billionaire author. It doesn't make a difference how many times you get put down or how many times you fail. You have a purpose. My purpose was what I'm doing now. And I found out very early in life that this is it. Just find your purpose. We had a guy come to us and he was broken. He was job, his wife had left, and we got working with him. And I said to him, I said, hey, and I've done this thousands of times. What do you do in your spare time? He said, I can't tell you. You'll laugh. I won't laugh. And knit socks. Oh, really? What for? Well, my family. Okay, here's a website. Here's your business cards. You got to sell 4 pair of socks this month. And so we did. That guy runs the biggest sock company in the world, the one where you buy a pair and he gives a pair away. That guy there, it's got to know what's happening. You've got to look at the 9D that we do. You've got to look at the childhood trauma, the brain spotting, all the tools to take you back. And once you start restructuring brain and repatterning away from the self-sabotaging neural pathways, life becomes pretty easy. So
what you're saying, Dr. Kelly, it's you and I both know that this is so incredibly simple. It's so effing easy, but yet we get into this and we make it so hard. I know you agree with what I'm saying to you. It's so simple, and yet.
Yeah, it is. But we build up 90% of people think from a subconscious mind. That's the guy that wants to kill you. They'll make it look like an accident, by the way, guys. So when the prefrontal cortex screams for an answer, it goes into the subconscious, which is not ready, not good enough, never going to be blonde enough, tall enough, thin enough, or rich enough. And that's just it. It's bullshit.
Yeah. Being kind, just because I've never seen you, or when I come across people, they think I'm poop, and I admit it. You read an article where at the time we're studying people that had attempted suicide jumping off of the Golden Gate Bridge. And some of those folks on the way down prayed and said, oops, I made a mistake, and they ended up not dying. But the purposes of this was a particular individual that actually was not successful. Actually, he was, because he ended up dying. So they went back to where he lives. He was within walking distance of this bridge, and they found a note. And the note said, and I'm going to paraphrase, I'm going to walk to the Golden Gate Bridge, and I'm going to kill myself by jumping off of that bridge unless someone smiles at me. What? That's it? That's takes is for, and guess what? Nobody did. So the next day, using this as an experiment for myself, I was in Costco, and the lady and I, she was coming from my left and I was going this way. And we got to that place where we're doing that dance. And so I said, no, go ahead and go. And she did. And when she did, I rammed the shit out of her cart with my cart. She looked at me and we had so much fucking fun, right? But what if, Dr. Kelly, I'm going to pose to you, what if that morning What if she woke up and said, I'm going to off myself unless somebody's kind to me? And I've taken that philosophy, right? That I'm kind to everybody, even the son of a bitch that cuts me off on the road. Really, right? I smile. I'm kind, and you. I can appreciate this. I can do this because, well, I'm kind to me first. It's called self-love. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, if you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. I tell that Golden Gate great story. And when I finish it, I say to people, how many people you walk past today heads to the Golden Gate Bridge? Because you can change somebody in 2 words. Try this experiment, guys. Next time you're out with a built-up area of people, sneakers are always the best. So when somebody walks towards you with nice sneakers, I want you to say 2 words, nice sneakers. He'll probably go, oh, thank you, man. Turn around and watch him. You're going to look down at his
Really? Say that it's sneakers? Is that what you're saying? Sneakers?
sneakers. Yeah.
What that
Yeah, that's it. Just 2 words. Nice shoes, nice sneakers,
Oh,
nice total
nice.
shoes.
Oh,
As
okay.
in,
Okay.
watch him walk. He's going to look down at his sneakers 2 or 3 times. But guess what? You've not only made his day, because when he goes home to the wife or girlfriend, he's in a good mood. Now she's in a good mood. Then the mother-in-law calls and you get the gist. But that's how you change the world, one person at a time, with 2 freaking words. That's how simple it is. Stop complicating. Get rid of the noise in your head. Get out. It's not about you, guys. Everyone thinks it's about. It's not. If you help other people, kind to other people, bless other people on a daily basis, your life will change. That's hundreds of millions over the years that I've met and worked with all say the same thing. When I love myself, I can compliment other people. When I do that, my life changes. That's how this world works. You can have anything you want in this life as long as you're willing to pay the price. My price was what I went through, which now becomes my greatest asset going forward. But I bless people monetarily because I can when I leave the house every single day and compliment at least 3 people because it's free dopamine for me and them, and kind to everybody you come across. I have a British restaurant next door to my restaurant, which is mine. Next door to my offices, they give free meals out. You know, veterans don't anything in my shop. My restaurant, veterans don't pay anything coming here. You've got to do these things because it's not about us. Because you know something, Tony? When I get and Satan walks me up to God, do you know what God is not going to ask me? How big was that car you were driving? How much was that house? Did you? I don't want a big number.
I feel like I say to people, right? So you have me, a grown man, and I'm going to tell you that I love you. I do. I love everything you have said, and everything you have shared with me is 100% the truth, right? And your truth may not align, and that's the difference. That's what this world is: getting people's truths to align. I mean, there believes some stupid shit that I'm thinking, what are you? But your truth and my truth are aligned 100% with what you're doing, because we're doing the same thing. Look, so everybody that can hear me, some of you that don't know me know, or that don't know me don't know, that when God told me to open Beacon Recovery, I told him no. I did, and I told him no for quite a bit, quite a while. And do you live with? It's not the same kind of conversation you have with your angel, where you're talking to somebody and you're hearing them. This isn't this. I know it's God talking to me, and yet my arrogant dumbass is telling him no. Right? Can we pick? Because one day I was on the golf course, beautiful. It was the first one on the green. My ball made it on the green on a par 3, and my ball rolled across, and I could see it picking up the dew. Perfect day. And he tells me, this isn't all you get in life. And I'm like, okay. And that day, conversing with God, what do you got? Since golf isn't it, I'm not going to be on this is a golfer. So what's up? And he gave me doing this. And I literally said, no, right? But obviously, God is here. We are. And like you, I will take my last breath, right? Fighting for these people and showing these people that there is another way. And at the end of the day, you know this as well as I do. It comes down to one word, and that is love, which is what God is. With me, because we are, you're another mother. I mean, really, right? I want to hear, because you've worked with thousands and thousands of people, right? Celebrities, athletes, musicians, obviously. I want to hear, other than yourself, because yourself is it. But other than yourself, I want you to talk about some of your great success stories. And you may not want to share somebody's name, but because it's that's where the payment is, right? Being involved in somebody's life and watching these things, watching their aha moments, right? Do you have any of those you'd like to share?
I had thousands of
Mhm.
people that come to us. They've all got well because we're aggressive at what we do. One thing that a lot of people don't know about us is you need to pass an assessment. I turned Britney Spears down for $1 million because she wasn't ready about 19 years ago. Now, before anybody starts to work about anonymity, I have a written letter from her. We have good friends today, and we laugh about that. And she said, you could tell a crazy story. She went and shaved her head off right after coming after meeting. It's crazy, but if you're not ready, you don't get to work with us. You can't buy our services. We've turned down millions and millions and millions of dollars. But the stories that I've been through of returning broken movie stars and we're convincing them with subliminal messaging and stuff like that. And they've become the biggest movie stars in the world, the highest paid movie stars, the highest paid rap singers, musicians, CEOs, government employees, SAS people, these people with all great stories, but they all succeed because we won't let them fail. Once you're in company with somebody for 3 months, you convince. If I tell you a lie now, so you might believe it, you might not. If I tell you a lie often enough, you're going to believe it. But guess what? If I tell you a lie in real often enough, I'm going to start to believe it. Psychology 101. The mirroring part of the brain picks up and they run with what they have. It's incredible. So we picked a guy up from a broken down actor from LA. So we went to California jail, LA jail, and we didn't know who it was, but the agent called, we have a job for you, can you meet us at blah, blah court? So we went down there and was sat in the side room waiting for whoever it is to come in. And he walks in and we're all kind of, oh, this will be interesting. We got in front of the judge and the judge said, here's the deal, Dr. Kelly. If he goes missing, which he's known to, you'll be in my courthouse. And I said, no, I'm not taking that deal. So we had a little bodyguards with us. So they took their handcuffs on him. We put our handcuffs on him and we flew him back to our place just outside Dallas. Now, he stayed with us for 3 months. But at the 2 month, 2 week there, he got an envelope that arrived at the front door and showed the protocol. And it was one of the biggest movies ever made today. That's what we're talking. That's what we do. And we don't fail because we have that key to the neuroscience behind it. Everybody wants to succeed at something. We just make that a reality. And if we don't, we'll give you your money back. And it's not cheap to come here. It's extraordinarily crazy. We guarantee our work. So yeah, I always smile if I think about somebody, they call us, stuff like that. And it's been a great journey for me listening and watching these guys succeed.
Well, I want to make sure that people understand, and you didn't say this, but I know this is going to be that you're going to, when I say this, I know you're going to say, yeah, you're right, right? You back, right? So long as they do what you say for them to do. If you say, these are the things that I want you to do, and you choose not to do these things, I'm not giving you your money back because you didn't do what we said. You have to do what we say. And if you do the things, that's why you know this. You know that if they do what you're telling them to do, because you got your information from God Almighty Himself, right? Then you that's why you could it's a really claim. I think it's a very simple claim for you to make, right? Some people would say, wait a minute, it costs this much money, why would he dare offer to give me my money back? He's up in the night, this guy's crazy. But you're going to say, well, no, that's not true. If you do what we say, then you're not going to fail. Does that sound about right?
Correct. 100%. As long as you continue the program when you leave us, which 99% of people do, then you're a success, something with your life, whether that's get your kids back or become a CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company, it's going to happen. But you start messing around and pulling away because 3 parts of the brain reset every 24 hours. So if you're not constantly retraining that brain, then you're going to come away. The false neural pathways are going to start again, and you're going to come away from the plan. That means you can relapse or fail or depressed or whatever it is. Stick to the script. It's 100% possible.
I'm going to suggest to you, right? Because you mentioned, be a CEO, an actor that, got their life. I'm going to, for me, the ultimate any of those things. I mean, I live in a nice little cabin up in the mountains. I've got a great life, but that's not what that. I have a company here in Beecon Recovery, but that's not what true success is. Waking up, being happy, waking up with an attitude of gratitude. I really believe that gratitude is the key to abundance. Being grateful every single day for the life that I've got, that I can actually have this life, right? And because all those other things, I'm not taking any of that stuff with me, right? What I'm going to take with me is the love that I have and the knowledge that I've got, like you, that the things that you're doing. Because look, you don't have to do what you're doing. You're choosing to because you love people. Sound about right?
Sounds about the biggest ever successes in the world. I was getting my daughter.
Oh, wait, it was what?
And her introduced getting my daughter back.
Say that one more time. Broke up.
The most successful thing I've ever done was get my daughter back.
Did you say get your dogs back?
Daughter.
Oh, your daughter.
And when years after we were taken up, I went to see her. We hugged at the door. She took me by my hand. She walked me into a living room and she handed me my 3-month-old granddaughter. Try and tell me there's no God. Oh, that girl works at my office in Manchester as my lead therapist. We have 5 offices around the world. But she runs with we've been over 2 or 3 times a year to go and see them. But yeah, that's the biggest accomplishment of my life. And then that was 4 years ago. And then 2 months ago, my youngest daughter got in contact with me. And that's my success. The rest, I won't give a shit about in 2 years' time. There's nothing today that I can't walk away from right now. Put me in a tent with my kids and my 3 English bulldogs, and nowhere with no money. I'm going to be as happy today as I was ever, because that's the success story. Your family is very, very important, and winning them time judged by my actions, not by my intentions. I want everybody back over time. I have my sister running the English restaurant next door. My sister would not speak to me for 27 years. Came over 2 years ago and lived with us and then bought a house. But she runs the restaurant next door. Family, you can't buy. It's like a story.
There's your success. We're talking, the success you over there, the success we have over here. I want you to, and I know the answers to these questions from an outpatient perspective. You're an inpatient, but I want you to talk to me a little bit about what are your thoughts on what exactly is wrong with our industry. And once again, I know what's wrong with our industry from an outpatient perspective. Oh, let me tell you, I got some stories, and we've got some answers on our side as well. But can you talk a little bit about, what's wrong, in your opinion, needs to change? Because I want people that are in the know to hear what you're about to say.
Yeah, be sure.
Yeah.
Sure, Eric.
Well, here's the thing. If you watch a podcast, like 2 podcasts ago, where I fucking dunked insurance industry, because from our perspective, from an outpatient perspective, those are the sons of bitches that are creating so many problems. Yanking people out of treatment. You're probably a casualty. I'm not. We do insurance and private insurance companies. Yes, I want to hear your perspective because I think you're going to tell me something I don't know, but it's also going to be the truth. So yes, I'm very sure. Absolutely.
So we run outpatient only. We've stopped the inpatient. So outpatient, mostly telehealth. So here's what's wrong, in my opinion, with the industry. Why does the industry have a 3% success rate? Why is treatment centers taking little Johnny back for the 6th time in the same treatment center, paying $90,000 a time? I'll tell you, you're focusing on the alcohol. What the hell is relapse prevention? I don't get it. I don't get it. You're not teaching them right. You're bringing them in, you're locking them up for 30 days, and you're sending them back. It's a family recovery. I mean, whether wife and goes in once a month in treatment and then tells how many things you're doing wrong. The model for recovery is broken. It's been broken for 20-something years. Why aren't you offering a money-back guarantee? Why are you talking about neuroscience? Why are you concentrating on the alcohol? Why are you concentrating on the money? You've got to earn a place in this outpatient. You've got to earn it. You can't buy. I called up millions of treatment centers. Well, I've got little. Yeah, we'll take him in. Oh, you don't know anything about him. Yeah, no. You should be embarrassed. If you're taking the same patient back into it, you should be embarrassed. Why the hell are you in the industry? Why are you teaching them in? Well, bullshit. That's not recovery. That's hell on earth. What are you teaching them? You know, and I see loads of treatment centers pretend patient and see the bullshit that happens. How dare you mess with our people? How dare you be so up your own arse that you think that putting somebody in a room talking about their shit with other people for 30 days will have any effect on their disease? Their disease kills them. How dare you? How many people have you killed with that line? Relapse prevention. What is relapse prevention? Alcoholism will never come to me on a Friday and go, hey, Rob, let's take a drink. It's 2 weeks before when the relapse starts, and you're not teaching them this. You're not teaching them that it's 1% to do. Alcohol is 1% isn't. Get away from the alcohol. It's not the alcohol, man. Why aren't you teaching people that alcoholics are born and drug addicts are made? Why are you not teaching people? Why are you not talking about the hypothalamus and the neuroscience behind getting well 100% permanently forever? Why aren't you doing it? Because you don't give a shit about the patients coming in. You're just looking at the bottom line. Feel better now, Tony? Come on, baby.
Oh, man, I'm hearing what, because it is in fact the truth, and it's all about, I call it words, the magic words. That's what it's about for these people. And those words are cha-ching, right? That's what it's about for these people. For some reason, I thought you were residential. You're outpatient like I am. Here's one for you, right? I'm suggesting, with legislation trying to anyways, at least in the state of Utah, if I've got an outpatient facility and I get ready for my license renewal, right? Whoever is your licensing body, they should make me, right? I already do it, but they should make anybody that's going to get a new license or a license renewal. What's your aftercare program? What the hell is happening to these people after they've left your program, right? What are we doing? We're okay, well, bye, right? That's bullshit. So here's a perfect. So we contact with our facility. They get contacted once a month for 3 months, and after that, they go to 3 month rotation. We had eight patients we could not get a hold of, graduates. So and this is called experiential learning. I went on Christmas Eve, because I know your ass you're gonna be home on Christmas Eve, right? So I went and knocked on 8 doors. First one I knocked on, the guy came to the door, hugging me. It was great. I mean, it was just a reunion for the two of us. And then he brought me into the house, and his girlfriend, when he was in treatment, is now his wife. And we had a great, pleasant conversation. And he lied through his teeth, being clean. That's when I learned something. By loving this would have never happened had I not listened to God and go knocked on these doors Christmas Eve, because I didn't want to. I was tired, right? I wanted to go home. His wife called me, Dr. Kelly, 3 days later, in tears, right? So now what we do is, instead of just contacting the person that had the addiction, whoever they are, they sign something by the gate. You're going to give us the opportunity to contact your wife, your husband, your daughter, whoever it is, because they're going to tell the truth. You might lie through your teeth, but they're damn sure not going to lie, because they don't want you back in your shit. So now at a great deal of expense to us, because every time somebody fills out the questionnaire, we give them a $25 gift card. That's not a lot of money, but when you're giving a shit ton of those away, it adds up. But what's the worth of a soul, right? This isn't a money-making thing for us. Shit, we've given 6 cars away so far, right? We have some sort of, I mean, we think this is not about money. This is about human life. And we, in my opinion, are directed by God Almighty to love one another the way He loves us. Now, that's virtually impossible, because we don't even understand how much He loves us, but we can sure give it a go. Does that sound about right to you, as you're shaking your head? Yes, I know you don't disagree.
I love everything you do. You're kind of, what we do. I mean, guys, what Tony and I are doing, the money will come. Don't worry about the money. You never have to worry about money again. It comes. It just comes. It's not hard.
Yes.
But you look at the patient and you love them. And I say to the patient, in the early days, I will fight toe to toe with your freaking addiction. Toe to toe. I'm a big fucking guy, and I've never lost yet. Toe to toe, until you realize we don't ask people, so how you feel today. We'll tell you how you feel until you get your this back and your heart back. It's like, concentrate on this. Don't worry about the money. If your heart's in the right way, God will bless you with all the money you need. You suddenly realize not happiness.
No.
So, man, take that piece of heart and share that with the patient. If you have 20 patients in your treatment center and you're the CEO, you need to be speaking to them guys every 2 days, each and every one of them. The first thing I do when people bring me into treatment centers, because they do, and we go in, and if they're aligned with us, we go in. The first thing I do, give me a second. I walk into a therapy session with 20 people, and I go, hey, what's your experience like in here? Oh, it's pretty cool. Okay, but hey, buddy, what's your experience? How long have you been sober? How many times have you been to it? I ask them all them questions, man. So they are ours. There are millions out there that do this, Tony, like me and you. I know that. But I guess me pissed because I've seen more people. We're just a number. We're just a checkbook. And, I've been in centers when I was back home. My wife walked out. I've been in so many. I drank on the way home. Why would you drink on the way home if the work was real and that the compulsion to drink and use had been taken away? And you're standing in the sunlight of the spirit? How the hell? It's impossible to relapse. Why am I relapsing every single time I come out of these treatment centers? That's what I get my soapbox about. And like I said, they're doing the right thing, but there are more that are doing the wrong thing. And we don't want to know you. Listen, the normal treatment center, they don't like me. Did you know something? I don't like me. Nice mutual agreement there going. I don't give a shit. You're not a patient here with a big checkbook. And we lived in Highland Park in Dallas when we're 14 years in Highland Park, where the average income is $1 million a year. You couldn't bring a checkbook out to men's. You could put 20 million on there. I ain't gonna take it because if I took it for reasons, and you'll appreciate this, Tony, God would strike me down dead. If 20. No, I've been given this from God, and He's put me in charge of the recovery. Okay. And I'm going to make sure I do the right thing every time. And He helps these people get well. And He backs the guarantee that I give. I've never, ever, ever not guaranteed somebody when it's yours. Because this isn't a money making, it's a passion. And if you're not a recovered alcoholic or addict or been through depression and recovered, you don't get to work with me.
Yeah.
Because you haven't been through it, how to help somebody and know what they're thinking.
Now, you don't know what I'm about to ask you. How could you possibly? This has not been scripted in any way. So I want everybody to understand that Dr. Kelly does not know what I'm about to ask him. You don't. But I already know what the answer is going to be. And it's going to be tough. And it's going to be tough for some people to hear this, right? But I'm speaking to the person that's listening to this podcast, by the way, who's listening to this podcast because you're supposed to be listening to this podcast. No accidents. No coincidences. You're hearing what you're about to hear because whoever you are, and you're going through some shit right now, whoever you are. I mean, it's not good. And you feel, I can't do it. I can't do this anymore. And this that I'm going through is a hell, and I shouldn't be going through this. Now, I want you to go back to Dr. Kelly and talk about, I don't know, one of those times that you slit your wrists or you did this and all these things that you did, that hell that you lived through. Are you grateful for it?
Oh, God, yes. And I'll tell you why. All the losses, all the pain, it's like when I look at it's like a semester at Harvard University, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, Tony. The stuff I learned from that, and then
Yes.
stuff like that, because people come to me, what do you know? You'd never check. Well, you check. Like I think the pain of losing my children, because when you work with these people that God puts in front of you, they're suffering what you're saying. You know the way out. I love that past about it. I screamed from the top of the mountain. I stabbed my wife 3 times on it, Tony, because she won't let me finish my bottle of vodka. That's insane to share that. People are going to hate you. I don't give a shit. But yeah, because she won't let me finish my bottle. I stabbed her 3 times and I fled to Spain because there was a murder charge out on me. She lived and she went okay, but there was an attempted murder charge out on me and I couldn't get back in. I did all that shit. I'm embarrassed about that at the beginning. I'm not embarrassed now. It's part of my journey, man. I want to tell you guys how powerful addiction is. It's like, it's not just getting drunk, falling over, or leaving a pan on the stove. This is serious stuff, man.
It is.
If I was going to go down, I'm taking somebody with me. It's a horrible way of thinking, but that's the way I was. And my poor wife, she took the children and left. 2 months after that, I've lost everything. Houses, cars, everything, homeless, everything. I had to fight every single day to survive on the street. And I don't mean argue. I mean literally fist fight every single day. I woke up one morning, the guy next to me, I had one bench, he had the other bench. That was our sleeping area and our cooking area and everything. He'd been stabbed to death for his sleeping. I was fighting with gypsies for money. That's the life I lived in. you know. And because I grew up projects, I got used to it in the end. After a year, I loved it on the streets. I just wanted to die. I couldn't die.
You know, you say you lost everything. I'm going to tell you that you gained everything by those experiences. I mean, because we've all got shit we've been through. Some of it's worse or different, but it's we've all got our stuff journey, and I've got some stuff that this is we're not going to discuss it, but believe me, there's some stuff, and I didn't like the stuff. I didn't at all, and I thought God does not love me. If He loved me, then He would not be letting me go through this shit again, right? But it's because of the fact that He loves me, that He allowed me to experience these things so I could be where I am right now and do the things I'm doing right now. And people can't say to me, well, you don't know. Oh, time out, Skippy. Yes, I do. I've had it on my arm. I know what that feels like. I know what it feels to get beat to shit where you get knocked out by somebody, your old man. I mean, damn. What father does at the age of 8 months? Who does that? Right? I don't remember it, but they tell me it actually happened. And I, for the longest time, like you as well, blamed everybody. And instead of saying, wait, I did this for a reason. It wasn't an accident that I lived that life, correct?
100% correct. And this is what we have to go through. This is what makes us geniuses. This is why we can save people, or a surgeon can save them. We've been given the power with a capital P.
That's right.
Save these people. He didn't give it to the politicians, man. He didn't give it to the doctors or the surgeons. He gave it to us. He gave it to, but no one else can. That's the beauty of this thing. You know, medical fraternity, I'll still battle addiction. I will never go to my doctor for my general health ever again. They don't know nothing about addiction or anything. They don't know nothing about that shit. He gave it to us. And they seriously. It's like I've done thousands of podcasts. You'll never see me sell my services. Well, come to Robb Kelly. I'm not after patients. I'm after friends. I'm not after shit. What I'm after is that me and you, Tony, can save a life today. Then we can go to bed tonight going, hey, do you know what? God, job done today. I did a good for one reason. Like me and you have saved lives today, Tony, period. It's a powerful podcast. I've been on thousands. It's a powerful podcast, this, and that's why I do. We get to pick and choose today. That's what people don't know. Dr. Oscar, no, we don't do that. We have a full-time girl, Courtney. She goes around, trolls the internet, and finds people that are A, in this for the right reason, 2, are saving lives. Then she approaches them and go, hey, can Dr. Robb go on your podcast? And some are like, what? We only have like 10 followers. He don't give a shit about that. If we can help 10 people, and that's what happened. So when she came to you, obviously, I don't mean embarrass you here, Tony, but when she came to you, she saw something in you that she was unbelievably loving and kind and needed us to meet. Very passionate about this. So you'll never see me podcast with a fucking loser. I'm sorry. I used to do it. I don't do it anymore. I'm not selling shit on here. In fact, I have a book out there. I'll give it away free. You get 10 books out away free.
Hey, do me a favor. Stop beating around the bush. Just say what you got to say. I mean, really. Listen. Well, I have a question for you real quick. And we'll end with this, I think. But behind you, there's a little green button in the wall. What does that button do? What is that for?
Nobody can get in and out of these premises without us in that room. We've got screens on the wall. So, yeah, we're careful because we've got a lot of high-profile people in here. So they come into the car park with a baseball cap on, a big coat, and they come in. They got the buzzed in and buzzed out. Nobody can walk in that section.
Okay, my next question then, that was kind of a superfluous question. I just was I don't really care. I didn't need to know what that button did, but I'm a little kid at heart. I'm a 60-year-old little boy. The next question I've got, if somebody wants to know more about you, and I know they're gonna, is there a website? Is there a place? How do they get a hold of you guys?
So if you're listening, not watching, guys, I spell my name in 2 B's, ROBBKELLY.com is the website. Jump on there, okay? We have a CEO called the Breath Box. It's 9D dimensional. Look at that, guys. If you're interested, we'll do it ridiculous.
Say that one more time.
9-dimensional journey. It's a breathwork subliminal messaging tool that we have. It's a game changer. We're actually talking to JFK right now, the health minister, about it. It's changing lives every single day. It's mind blowing what it can do. It'll repattern your brain, reprogram your brain, confidence, getting rid of all this shit in about 4 sessions. That's it. It's the biggest secret in the world right now, and we've got it.
Now, with that, we've taken a lot of your time. The podcast thank you for joining us. We're going to sign off now. I'm going to. The podcast is now over. Now, this is just Tony talking to the doc. You mentioned something just now that the people aren't. But you mentioned that you're talking to JFK. I know that JFK is searching for programs that actually work. Now, you mentioned your success rate. Our recidivism rate is 10.42% at Beecon Recovery. Now, that means that 90% of the people that graduate our program don't fucking come back. Right. They don't relapse, and they don't end up in a dirt nap for the rest of their life, because most facilities, I'm going to say facility out there within the 90 percentile, they don't give two shits about these people, doc. They just don't. They care about making money, and they tell people, oh yeah, we want what's good for you. We don't want you to come back, but deep down they do, because as an owner, when you come back, I make more money, right? And that pisses me off. So there's some things that are happening here locally, but I also have some things that are happening with the insurance companies, right? And I'm just going to tell you, we take Medicaid. I'm in network with companies. We don't do cash because people that are on Medicaid can't afford this shit. They're on Medicaid, dude. They're in and out of jail. But from my perspective, doc, they're just as much a human being as you and me. Because they've been in jail, and they don't have any money, and they got tattoos all over them. Shut the fuck up. They're human beings, period. Right? And they're not treated as such, right? So God has given me the ability, right, through Medicaid, to make a very healthy living. When I tell people that Medicaid pays me $620 per patient per day, they look at me like a deer in the headlights. Like, wait, what? I mean, there's facilities here in Utah, and they're all over. When you call them, and I do all the time, what are you guys doing? Tell me the day in the life of somebody coming to your facility that you're a Medicaid facility. Okay, you're sitting in the fucking group all day, because the way the insurance model is set up, it's an all-inclusive pay, meaning we don't really give a shit what you do. We're going to pay you your daily rate. Of course, once the deductibles and the out-of-pockets are done, and of course, that's if you're living through the utilization reviews and the peer reviews and all the other bullshit we're making you do. And by the way, when you're first getting started, we don't care, right? You give us, you got your pre-authorization done, and we're going to say yes. We're going to pay you all-inclusive. We don't give a shit. But then what we do, I don't know, 3, maybe 4 months in, we decide that, well, we're paying that daily rate too long, too far, so we're going to do a utilization review. And those counselors that are in that are paid more for denial than are in acceptance. But you dumbasses, what you're doing is you're yanking somebody out of treatment smack dab in the middle of their treatment, thinking we're saving money because we're not paying you the $800 a day. But what you don't realize, you dumb shits, is you're creating them to relapse. And if we're really lucky, they won't die, right? And then they're going to come back and they're going to file more claims. That's the stupid. Are you people? And if I sound passionate, it's because I'm passionate. People don't need to die. And everybody thinks, and you know this, that the only person that's really the person with the addiction. Are you people? What? They have husbands and wives, and most importantly, they have children. The entire family is affected, and families are being decimated. And so I've already talked to my senator, right? Senator Curtis and Senator Lee, right? And I told both of those guys, right? Can you get my information in front of RFK? Because what I'm suggesting is that I want to give this away. I will sell my company. I will walk from this that I do, and I will go and I will give this away. I won't charge anybody one red penny. I started a consulting firm to charge somebody. I mean, if I go to you're making, I don't know, $120 a day, and I can show you can make $600 a day with Medicaid, right? That's a huge turnaround. That's got to be worth, if you got 25 patients, that's about, I don't know, $140,000 per month turnaround for you. Give me, I don't know, 35, 40K, and I'll put you a seat at that table. That's what I was going to do. And then God came to me and said, no. You're not going to this. This is not your program. It's mine. Give it away. I'm like, okay, I'll give it away. So what I want to do is I want to be able to be in a position, and I know RFK would love to hear what we're doing with the Medicaid folks, okay, where we can get Medicaid, right? And we can make a decent living, but we can do things like neurofeedback, epigenetic testing, live blood cell analysis, hypnosis, breath work. I've got a full-on master's level clinician that teaches people. She's a nutritionist, right? We are doing things that other people haven't even heard of, Our group room is oftentimes a ghost town, right? Because people are getting individual treatment, right? This sitting in a group room singing fucking Kumbaya all day, it just bugs me. That what do you think they're going to learn in the group room all day? Get them out of the group room and put them in an individual one-on-one. If you go to any outpatient facility on planet Earth, probably with the exception of yours, you ask them, how often will I get in front of a master's level clinician? And they're going to tell you, well, once a week, but more oftentimes once every 2 weeks. At Beecon Recovery, it's a minimum of 3 days per week. And that's with 2 separate therapists, right? We don't do what everybody else does, neither do you. You won't spend time in my group room. There's too many other things we're going to do where I'm doing this one-on-one, right? So my question for you is, can you give me an audience with that guy, RFK?
I have no idea, but I'll do my best. But let's keep talking. That's for sure. We'll see what we can.
I want to keep talking, and that's the other thing. I want to buy.
Good to me.
You're in San Antonio, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I flew there because I was going to buy you lunch. When can I come buy you lunch and we can talk more? You tell me.
I don't run my own calendar, but I say anytime you want because we'll move stuff around. You can have a look at the premises. You've got to try 9D. It's mind blowing. That's what I told you to JFK about. But yeah, let me get
your schedule, and I will fly to San Antonio again, right? And we'll do this 9D.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
That's breath work.
Well, it is. You do breath, but it's 9-dimensional subliminal messages going around while you're doing a little bit of breath work, and then there's the music, and then there's one person directing you, but it's the subliminal messaging that's doing. We do it online as well, but we do it to groups of like 100 people online at a time. It's a game changer. It's a fucking mind-blowing game changer. I've been on it. We got it about 12 months ago. I went on it, started reprogramming my mind. I've lost 157 pounds in the last 12 months. It's fucking mind-blowing. You've got to fucking try it, man. It'll change your life.
So don't tease me, right? Now I'm gonna whoever your girl is and I was talking to, my girl's gonna bug the shit out of your girl to get me a date to come visit and buy lunch at a restaurant you want. Come to your facility. You can buzz me in with that little button behind you, right? And things because I'm interested. I'm always open. That's why we're doing, we do hypnosis here. With a lot of things people don't even, and why, right? For me, it's been a bit challenging because my folks are on Medicaid. And so I have to be real creative on how I bill Medicaid to make it happen, right? I don't lose any money like I used to. When I first brought in neurofeedback, I couldn't bill anybody. And the first system cost me $26,000. I had to do a bunch of construction to make it happen with no opportunity to get a reimbursement on my investment on that equipment. On top of that, I'm yanking somebody out of a session and they're still getting paid their $40 an hour to come over here and do neurofeedback. And I wasn't able to bill anything for it. There's a fun story for you. I did neurofeedback when I couldn't bill anybody for it. Then 3 months in, I got a call from my company that shared with me that Medicaid has changed their codes and they're now offering neurofeedback. Dr. Kelly, I didn't know that when I did what God told me to bloody well do on faith, but God did. And now we make more with neurofeedback from Medicaid than any other single modality on planet Earth. How about that?
Love it. I love it. We can talk about that when you get here as well. I'd be interested in looking at that.
Well, I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to direct my person to talk to your person and get it on our schedule. And I will fly out there with a smile on my face to get some of your time. And I'll even, and seriously, lunch is on me. Seriously, I like steak. Wait, you're in San Antonio? You're in San.
We can go to the best steakhouse in the world, or you come to my restaurant next door. It's a British restaurant. We serve every kind of British food available. You'll fucking love it. Oh, we might do that on one day and then go to the steakhouse on the next. But next door, your money's no good to me.
Okay, well, then we have a plan. Day 1, I'm coming to your restaurant.
Yes.
And then day 2, we're gonna go. What's Papadu's? Papadu's.
Now, yeah, there is. But I'm gonna go to shit the name right now. We're gonna go to can't think of the name, but it's the best steakhouse in Texas.
Is it Fleming's or not? Yeah, doesn't matter. Okay. Literally going to go, I'm going to go downstairs and say, whoever you talk to, get it set up. And I'm going to spend some time with my new friend. I so am grateful for your time.
Of course, man. Of course.
I look forward to seeing you again. We'll see you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.